The Finder in Sage Accpac is used on data entry screens to look up and select information such as account numbers, customers, vendors, items, orders, and transactions, to name a few. In this tutorial, we'll show you features and functions of the Finder, including some elements that you can customize for your own use. Even seasoned users of Sage Accpac may learn a thing or two, so let's jump right in and get started. We'll use the AR customer form as our example, and specifically the customer number field. To look up a customer, we'll click the Finder icon. Alternatively, you can hit the F5 key. The default setting shows all customers in our database. You can scroll through the list and either double-click on a line or hit the Select button to choose a customer. Now let's look at how we can narrow our search results using the Find By field. Opening this field shows the default list of selections. Later in this tutorial, we'll show how you can modify the list. Let's select Customer Name, and now we're offered the choice of Starts With or Contains. We'll select Starts With, and in the filter box, let's first type the letter B, then A, then S, and notice that the Finder narrows its search as we type more characters. This is a function of the auto search being turned on, but note that if you have a very large database, you might want to turn it off and use the Find Now button to run your filters. Now we'll show you a tip that can take miles off your mouse movement. Notice that when we open the Finder, the focus of our cursor is down in the grid, and each time we open the Finder, we have to move it up and click in the filter box before we can begin typing. To streamline this operation, just go up to Global Settings and click on Go to Filter first. Now let's close and reopen the Finder, and now whenever we open the Finder, the cursor will already be sitting in the filter box and we can immediately begin typing. For many users, this is a very welcome feature. Each user can also modify the layout of their screen. So for example, you may want your screen to be larger, and you might want to change the arrangement of your columns, which you can do by clicking on the column header and dragging it to the desired location. You can also change the column widths. Importantly, any changes you make will be remembered by the system and will not affect other users. Now let's take a look at some of the configuration settings that you'll find in the menu bar. Starting with Key, if you have a very large database, you can speed up the search on any of the listed fields by changing the selection to that field. Notice that when we made this selection, the grid resorted by that field. Let's go ahead and return it to the default setting. Now let's move to Settings. Under Columns, this is where you can add or delete fields from the Finder. We can add any of the listed fields, even optional fields like UPS zone, and clicking Include moves it to the right side, and using the up-down buttons changes the position of the column in the Finder grid as well as in the Find By selection list. Now let's move to Color. Color allows you to change the color of the text and background in a column. Let's change the background of the customer number column by choosing a color, and after we hit OK, we're shown a sample, and we'll hit OK and here's the result. Let's undo the color change by going back to Settings and clicking Restore Color Default. If you create or modify your own forms or reports in Crystal Reports, then you might want to turn on the field name as column heading. This lets you see the internal field names used by Sage Accpac. Let's change this back before moving on. Now let's take a look at the Set Criteria function. The Set Criteria feature allows you to set more complex filters. So let's suppose that we want to view customers in the wholesale group that are located in California. To do this, we'll open the column list and select Group Code and click Add, and double-clicking the cell, we'll select Equal To as the operator and enter the code for the wholesale group WHL and click OK. Now we'll select State Province and click Add, and double-clicking the cell, we'll select Equal To again as the operator and enter CA for California and click OK. We can use the criteria for a single record search by clicking OK, or we can leave it active for subsequent searches by clicking Save and then OK. To deactivate saved criteria, you'll need to go back and clear the criteria, and clicking OK once again returns the unfiltered list. And now one final feature before we conclude. You can export your Finder results by going to File, Export, and you can save to a number of common file types. So to recap, the Finder is one of the most used functions in Sage Accpac, and we've shown a number of features that can help you tailor it to the way you work. Give us a call if you need assistance with this or any other feature in Sage Accpac ERP. Well, that's it for this tutorial. Bye for now.